Welcome to Seriously Selfish. I'm your host, Amanda Talajan. Hey, welcome to Seriously Selfish. Maddie, I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much.
First of all, just we got to get into it, nitty gritty. I want to know how this happened for you because you're on the business side, but you're also on the content creator side, and you're merging the two while also managing other creators who I love. I know some of the people that you're managing, obsessed with them. And I feel like everything you do makes so much sense together, from everyone you represent to what you're doing and your business side. So how is this all working? How did it begin? Tell us.
Yeah. So I started social media when I was pregnant with my daughter, so about 2.5 years ago. And I truly just got on because I honestly don't even know. I think I just was sick of seeing aesthetic bullshit online all the time. And I was like, I'm going to be on maternity leave. This is my second baby. I'm going to be a little bit bored. So let's make some content. And then it just kind of popped off. I think when I was postpartum, misery loves company. So people were like, oh my God, she's miserable. Yay.
Right.
And then it just kind of transpired from there. I was actually, it's so funny, I was in plastic resin sales for 12 years. And I was still working my corporate job when I started this account. And then I started working with brands and kind of using my business acumen to make money. And I was like, wow, this could really be a career. And then I had friends who were like, hey, how are you getting these brand deals? Mm-hmm. And then one of my friends, actually, Chelsea Delgado, I don't know if you follow her, but she actually pushed me into this career path, and she was my first influencer. Nice. And last May, I quit my corporate job, and I've just been doing this full time for myself and my friends.
Oh my God, it's so inspiring. I love hearing the lineage of these stories because I think the mom creator community is such an inspiring space. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I've seen an influx of people being like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for my family, whether they're a working mom, stay-at-home mom. It's just this idea of some sense of freedom because you can work at home, you can be around your kids, you can do it in between other things, which I personally think is a little bit of a myth because anybody knows that you do kind of have to dedicate some time and it does start to take over life a little bit. But I think to see somebody be able to actually quit their job and do this, to me, is just the stories that we want to hear, because I'm sure that came with a lot of hard moments as well, hard decisions.
Yeah, I mean, being a business owner in itself is not easy. And then, you have to think about the fact that I worked this very, very good corporate job and they treated me very well. So health insurance and stuff like that was a big leap. But honestly, I just feel I kind of I was kind of miserable doing what I was doing anyway. And then I just I had a lot of people believing that I could do this, which was really helpful. And I took the leap and here we are.
Yeah. It's amazing. Do you feel it was a financial thing specifically that took you over the edge to do it, or was it really that belief that you had from other people? Which one was the bigger pull?
I think financially, I was very comfortable with my corporate job and the salary that I was making and the benefits and stuff like that. But I think it was more that I felt so unfulfilled.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to create content and do my job. Mm-hmm. Even though I had a lot of flexibility because it was sales and I did my own schedule. But it was just it came to a crossroads where I had to choose, what do I want to be better at? And I chose myself in my career. So
I love that. I think it's so funny because I talk to a lot of people who want to start, and I'm always kind of you kind of have to hate what you're doing more than the fear of it not working out. It's yes. You just got to be I actually hate life, and nothing's worse than this. Figuring out where that next brand deal is going to come from or that next check, you kind of just, that steam you have in your engine of hatred, is enough to get you to that next thing. I think that's really real. And a lot of people, I think that's what holds them back from not doing it is just, I need all my ducks in a row. You can't have them in a row when you're starting a business or even going off on your own to create content. It's you got to figure it out as you go,
You're going to have to take a leap at some point. You're never going to have it all together. Plus, this is just an industry where it's like 1 month you make money, 1 month you don't. And you also have to be in a position that you're like okay with that, you know?
Mm-hmm. So what's it like for you? Like, what's the difference between this business side of you managing creators and then you yourself as the creator?
It's very Hannah Montana. It's so funny. I met one of my influencers on a girls' trip last April. We all went to St. George. And I mean, I'm the crazy one, right? I'm the crazy one of the group. I drink the most. I shake my ass. I don't even know. I'm just crazy.
We love.
And she found out that I own my own agency, and she was like, I would love to just like have a call because I'm kind of like in between. And we like set up a Zoom call, and she was like, who the fuck are you? She was like, I literally don't know who Business Maddie is, but I love her. But it's very different. Like, I'm very like, I don't know, you know, when you own your own business, you have to have like a professional side, even though like I love the social aspect of it. But I think I am 100% type B in my personal life, and I am 100% type A as a business owner.
I love that. Does that make you type C? I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
I guess
I've been seeing that a lot, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny because I feel like, I guess, in a weird way, it's like whatever you're doing for yourself, you just are kind of like mirroring that then for other people. And like, it's so interesting because I don't know anything really from the managerial side of content, but I can only assume like when you're looking at all of these opportunities, it must be fun to be able to like push them to other people that you believe in too. I feel like it just creates for like a very full circle experience. Obviously the Hannah Montana aspect exists, but like it's also nice that you get to be on both sides. So there really is no bullshit in this industry for you, you know?
Yes. Yep. I know the creator side and I know the brand side, and it's fun. It's fun working both sides. I mean, I will say that I run a very tight ship with my creators, more so than for myself. Obviously, I have a level of professionalism as a creator, but I just, you know, all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted for my girls, whereas sometimes I'm kind of like, da-da-da, you know?
But I think that's also just every creator is like that. That's kind of the thing. It's like when you know like someone has your back and you can kind of be like that. So essentially you're just living the real creator life. Because I feel like that sometimes where I'm like, oh, right, I was supposed to whatever. But like if it's something that has to do with somebody else, I feel like you're always on it. But yeah, it is very much that like fine line. What do you think has been one of your hardest lessons going off on your own and becoming an entrepreneur?
Probably that, you know, this is more so like industry based, but this is a very like everyone thinks that the influencer industry is like very relaxed and like, oh, you're a creator, there's no deadlines, there's no this, you know, you're just creating content, and it's actually like very rigid behind the scenes. There's a lot of moving parts, and I think that I didn't realize that before I became a manager. And I mean, I'm fine with it because of my background and like where I came from, but there's just this huge misconception that like influencer life is just so easy. And then when you really see how much work is being put in behind the scenes for some of these campaigns and stuff, you really start to see, wow, this is like actually a lucrative career.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I also think like that's such a nice way to put it, because I think no one wants to hear somebody complain when it's a job that feels, I think this very interesting way people function these days with like they hate influencers or they love influencers or they want to be one. I think it's the only job really that feels so attainable, so it's kind of frustrating like if you haven't achieved it and you're not doing it, that you're like, but I could too, so it kind of makes you love to hate it. But there's also this aspect of like it's still a job, but people hate to hear people complaining. And like from my job experience is like modeling and stuff. And so I always think it's so interesting the way people perceive my job, where it's like, do you get free stuff all the time? And do you get this and that? And influencing is kind of the same thing, where the way people assume your day to day is it's actually like very stressful. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of time frames that you have to meet. There's a lot of waiting for people, chasing people, like all of that stuff exists. And there's no HR. So like right. No one's really in charge, and you're just kind of like waiting a lot of times, and you're trying to be the most professional you can be while also dealing with people who kind of have too much on their plate. That's what I always That's how I see it. So hearing your perspective, I think it's really enlightening for people, and for people who want to try. I always say, like, everybody should try, but also this is a real fucking job, and it takes like a lot of time and energy to try and do it, you know?
I think also the thing about this job is like, okay, yes, we are very, we set our own schedules. We can, there's a lot of flexibility of it. There's a lot of pros, but there's also some cons in the sense that I would say that, like, in my past career, there was never a moment where my performance at work was affecting my self-worth. Whereas, I mean, yeah, you could have a down sales month or something like that, but at the end of the day, it's like 5 o'clock, done. I'm like not thinking about it anymore. Whereas influencing, the trade-off of it being your career is there's a lot of self-worth that goes into it. And I don't just mean like the bad comments or mean comments or whatever. It's the, oh my God, I only got 1,000 views today. Oh my God, nobody clicked my links. Oh my God, I don't have a brand deal this month. It's like, there's just like, it's less of like, I'm like failing in the business aspect, and it's more like, oh my God, I suck as a human being.
Yeah. Yeah, because like, especially when you're creating lifestyle content and you're like, they don't like me.
They don't like my life. That's my whole job.
They hate my life. It's really that. It's so interesting. I think it's also the only job where you're actively seeing the people who are in the same role as you and like them doing better. There's no job in the world where you would be like, this is basically my like mirrored version and she's doing a lot better. And then you're like, but love her. But like,
yes.
It's a very emotional experience, which kind of leads me to the whole topic of mental health, which you're so honest about your mental health and you're so open speaking about your experiences and your highs and your lows, like from having your kids to now. And I remember recently you were posting about you were having a low period and confused as to why, because you felt like you were in a good place. And I think it's so like when I was watching the video, I was like, oh my God, it's so comforting. Obviously, like awful to hear somebody else is going through, but for me, so comforting because it is so. It feels so shameful when you're a parent and your mental health is in a low point because you're like working so hard to get it to a good place. Your meds are in a good place, you're doing well, and then you're like, you have these low weeks and everything kind of goes to shit. I don't know if you relate to this, but I always feel like I fucking suck. I'm a bad mom, I'm this, I'm that, like I don't deserve any of these things, whatever it may be. But there's a liberation in sharing that I have found. How did you get to this place of like being able to share so openly about it and talk about it?
Yeah, I think that I've always kind of been an open book. I've never been much of like a people pleaser, really cared about like what people thought of my thoughts, but it's always been more of a just like my friends knew what I was going through type of situation. Yeah. And then the more like mental health content I start seeing on the internet, I'm like, oh my God, me. Oh my God, me.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's important to put those types of things out there because we really are the generation that are breaking the curses of not talking about mental health. And so if someone can watch my video and just one person is like, oh my God, I'm not fucking insane, that's worth it to me.
Totally. Yeah. I don't know if you have this experience, but a lot of like older women in my family or just like in general that I talk to will be like, I had that too, but we didn't call it that then. And that's one thing that like, if I think about it too much, could make me cry every night because I'm like, all these generations of women who were just like suffering in silence. And I see it in comment sections too, where it's like, oh, we were tougher. Or we just, you get like both sides of it where you have people being like, thanks for talking about this. You guys are in such a better place than we were. Or the people who are like, you just shut up and get on with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we have to do this. We have to do this because I know that our kids are going to feel so free. Like I can't imagine, my son is 2.5. I can't imagine when he's 20, how like nonchalant he's going to be about mental health and just being like, hey, I'm on these meds or I'm having this experience. It's not going to be as taboo as it still does feel today. Cause I don't see many people sharing honestly about their mental health, specifically in motherhood. And I think it's because there's a lot of like shame and guilt that does exist around it. But like you being able to share that really breaks those boundaries and it's very appreciated by people. What are some of the things that you hope people are receiving from you being able to share that?
I just want people to know that they're not alone in the battle. I think that, everyone's mental health is different. I feel like it's all a spectrum. Like, just because I have depression and anxiety, my symptoms are not the same as somebody else, right? But I think just knowing that there are other people suffering with you, and that you're not alone is already like comforting enough sometimes to get you kind of out of the funk that you're in.
Yeah.
I think just like you, one of the most important parts about talking about mental health is for my children's generation. I don't ever want like my kids to feel like they can't be like, I'm depressed today, or,
Right.
I'm feeling this certain way, because I know that my mom definitely couldn't speak to her mom. And I even didn't really speak to my mom about this type of stuff. So it's like, it's time to like break down those walls. I do think that like our generation has a lot more, like, I think that people suffered from mental health in our parents' generation as well, but I think that ours has a different element to it now with social media coming into play, because it's like, okay, you were keeping up with the Joneses back then, but that literally meant your neighbors, which is
Right.
pretty much the same tax bracket as you, right?
Totally.
And now you're keeping up with the Joneses, everybody.
Yeah. It's the world.
And so I think, I think there's a lot, that comes into that. So just like also breaking the, I guess, glass ceiling of like this aesthetic, perfect influencer world, and like letting you know, like, okay, there's people that like quote unquote look up to me, but this is real life. Like, I am a real human being behind the screen, and regardless of how you feel my life looks, this is the truth. And I think that's important too.
Totally. And like mental health connected to also this kind of job, like how do you handle like staying, this is going to sound like a weird question, but it's something that this concept is very real to me, where it's like, how do you differentiate between like, okay, today was like not a great day performance wise, or this wasn't a great week performance wise, but like this is my real fucking life, and like I just need to like tap into home. Like, how do you get out of your head when it comes to those kind of things, like with social media and then like your actual real life, because they're so connected? Okay.
Yeah, I think that it helps because I have a lot of my best friends are also creators, and so we have created this like really great mom group of people who are also influencers. So like talking to my friends who are influencers to be like, dude, this week absolutely sucked, and like have someone commiserate with you, but then also like honestly touching some fucking grass. Like going out with my friends who are not influencers and don't want to hear about the internet and don't care what I did, on like when I tell them I got 10,000 views, they're like, I don't know what the fuck that means. Let's just drink an espresso martini, So it's like, it's both, having the people that can commiserate with you, but then also the people that don't really care about this side of you, is both. They're both helpful.
Totally. You're so right. One of my best friends is like so not in the space. Sometimes I'll tell her stuff and I'm like, can you believe that? And she's like, yeah, it's amazing. And I'm like, no, this is not good news. And she's like, oh, that feels like a big number or whatever. And I'm like, no, I mean, you know what? Fuck. Yeah, it's great. Let's just be grateful. You're so right. But it's like nice to have people who you can connect with. And I didn't realize that when I first started, because I kind of like didn't really do social media. And then when I jumped into it, I was like, wait, I like need to make friends in this space. And like, I got so creepy in people's DMs and I was like, I think your content's really cool. Like, I just was like, I need to find people and be like, what the hell are you guys doing? And like, do you have bad days, or is this like, because you need to connect and understand, because that comparison game, especially when you don't have anybody who in the industry, it gets really fucking weird in your brain.
Yes, it does. It's so funny that you say that, because the mom friend group that I do have now, we're like all very close. There's like 4 or 5 of us, and I was the one sliding into everybody's DMs. Like all of them will be like, the only reason we are sitting on our, third girls trip is because Maddie was annoying us. I had like, voodoo dolls in my closet, and I was like, they're gonna be my friends.
It's so funny. Somebody's got to do it, you know? Somebody's got to do it. I very much align like that. You and I are similar in that way. That was always me. Like, no matter what chapter, like sports, different like schools, I was like, hey, I don't want it to be awkward, but let's hang out.
Who wants to be my friend?
Yeah. I talk about this a lot with like, you know, finding mom friends, because one of the main things I see in my community that people struggle with is like, how do I make friends? And a lot of people don't live near family. And I'm like, you got to be creepy as fuck. You got to go to the park and you be like, hey, what do you do? How old's your kid? What's his name? Where does he go to school? Like, you got to ask all the weird questions, but not that level of like stalker weird, just like weird enough that you're like, I'm very interested. And some people are going to say no, but it's like, I just think that motherhood is such an interesting chapter, because you have to, it's like starting at a new school, but you're so grown and don't feel like you have to like get to that level of embarrassing yourself anymore. You're like, I've done all of that, but like it's a whole new world of just getting out there and like you're the new kid at school, you know, and you got to make friends, and like it's so worth it, because I'm sure you can attest to this. Like, my mental health would not be the way that it is if I didn't have the friends that I have and the community that I have. And you know, family is great, but people who are actually in the same era of motherhood as you it's life-changing.
Yes, I agree with that. I also think that making mom friends is harder because, and I mean, you deal with this a little bit when you don't have kids, but there's a lot of surface level sifting. You know, like, do I like her because I like her, or do I like her because she has a son the same age as my son and we can go and sit at a coffee shop? You know what I mean?
Totally.
And so that's really hard, because you really crave that, like, bestie connection. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's truly just, like, getting out of the house and talking to someone who's not 4.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. And it's also like, yeah, you're so right. I had that experience too, where it's like, you think like, okay, we're moms, so we're just going to be friends. And then you realize like, there's different types of moms. And like,
you don't talk about the hemorrhoid in your butt? Oh, sorry.
I remember one time I was picking my son up from school and he was just like, I don't know, being so crazy, like didn't want to get in the car, whatever. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I sat down on the sidewalk and I'm just like watching him, and this mom walks by and I was like, you know what? It's like I'm having the time of my life with him, but like I'm not having fun. And like I don't know why, I just felt the need to tell her that. And she was like, I have fun with my kids every day. And I was like, wow, fuck you. I was like, that's so cool, but like, you can't be serious. And so I got so riled up, and I like called my mom and I'm like telling her, and she was like, I think some people really may feel that way. And I was like, okay, right. Like, not everybody's going to be my type of mom friend, but like, I'm not having fun a lot of the time. I don't want to be anywhere else, but I'm not having fun. But like, there are a lot of people who, yeah, you don't want to talk about the fact of your gross body stuff and all the things.
Unfortunately, my mom is one of those moms. She's a mom that's like, I love
mine too.
With my kids all day, every day. There was never a bad moment. Yeah. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're such a liar.
Yep. My mom's the same. Exactly the same. She'd be like, I don't know. It was just the best years of my life. And I'm like, are you well? Yeah. I'm like, and then I'll ask her things. I'm like, but did you have like, literally hemorrhoids was something we were talking about recently, because like, holy fuck. Wow. And I was like, but did you? And she's like, no. And I'm like,
Same with my mom. I'm like, what about, I was like, yeast infection? She's like, I've never had one.
No.
I'm like,
not me.
Okay, great.
Yep. This in the same category of like, just breastfeed. You know, I was back in my size 2 jeans 3 weeks later. Yeah. I'm like, oh, when I was breastfeeding, I thought I was going to jump into traffic. Like, and I was actively gaining weight faster than when I was pregnant. What's wrong with me? And then you just realize, like, some people are really like fairy dust people. That's what I call them. They just like prance around, and like, you know, also my mom was a stay-at-home mom. Like, she wasn't out there like grinding in the streets, like trying to make money. That's my vibe. So we all have our strong suits, but sometimes I'm like, God damn, like, my neck, my back, my pussy, my crack, and like, you don't get it.
You don't get it.
You know? And I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm always like, in my next life, I hope I come back as one of those people who's like, I was in labor for 30 seconds. Pew, pew, pew.
I know. No mental illness.
Right. not my journey. Did you experience postpartum depression with any of your kids?
Both, yeah.
Both.
I've always kind of been predisposed to it because, like, my mom has been medicated pretty much my whole life. My sister passed away from suicide.
I'm so sorry.
So, like, it's okay. Thank you. It was, like, 13 years ago now. But I knew that I was, like, going to be... I've always had mental health issues, but I knew that, like, this would probably hit harder. I didn't seek any help with my son, which was a mistake because... I was really, really, really struggling, and I wasn't on social media at the time, and I pretty much have, like, blacked out his entire, like, first year of life, which is a shame. But I did ask for help with my second, and I took, like, my followers on that journey, so that was really helpful. But yeah, it's no joke, that's for sure.
It's not. I'm so sorry. It's so, you saying, like, the blackout, it's so relatable because I, like, genuinely... same, like, don't remember the first, like, probably 7 months of my son's life. Like, I try and go back, I look at pictures, I have no fucking clue. I don't know how I kept him alive, and I was making content, but I watched those videos, I don't know who that person is, and I didn't understand what was happening to me. And because of me sharing that journey, I have a lot of my community who is now debating having a second, and because they experience PPD, I think, like, I have this theory of, like, if you do experience it, it takes a lot longer for you to be ready to have another child versus if you don't. A lot of people are more prone to, like, get pregnant quicker. And for me, I think, like, I'm always kind of curious when people do, like, what was that thing for you that you're like, okay, it's worth it and I'm going to do it again, even if I experience PPD again?
Ooh, I had a lot of vodka. And we fell pregnant with my daughter. So I can't really speak on that because it was never like I told myself, like, yes, let's have another one. And I was actually my son was only 9 months old.
Okay, gotcha.
So I wasn't even fully out of it.
Right.
Like, I didn't have any, like, come to moments. I just had an accident.
You just did it. You had a beautiful miracle.
A beautiful miracle.
Vodka-infused miracle. Oh my God.
Yes.
Like, vodka's the way. I always say, I'm like, it's not the tequila, it's not the rum. Like, vodka is the way to get pregnant. I'm telling you. Because same.
Both of my kids are conceived on vodka, so I can I'm no doctor, but...
Hey, it works.
Yeah.
So when you were pregnant with your daughter, were those thoughts, like, how was that experience and, like, managing that? And... did it change? Because if you're, I don't know, like, hormonally, did you feel another shift happen within you? What was going on?
I truly, like, I was still in my blackout period, I think, during, like, the beginning months of my daughter's pregnancy. I think that I did get to feeling a little bit better, like, once my son started sleeping through the night and, like, blah, blah, blah. But I knew, like, from the get-go that I was not going to do this again. And so I gave myself, like, 6 weeks postpartum, and then I, like, told my husband, I was like, if I don't get help, I'm, like, literally gonna die. So I got on my antidepressants, like, pretty quickly after my daughter, and it made a world of difference in terms of the postpartum experience. So
It's the way. It's the way. I'm always, like, I'm so interested in the societal shame around medication, because it's like, we really don't support mothers in so many ways, but specifically in the way of, like, you want to shame somebody for going on medication, or, like, make people feel like, well, you know, you got to get through it on your own. No, because I'm sure that if you would have done that the first time too, it would have been a different experience. And, like, you took what happened with your son and you were like, okay, I'm doing this differently this time. And it takes bravery and courage to be able to do that, especially because we're told, like, it'll pass. I don't know what happened to you, but, like, I remember every time I would go to the doctor, they'd be like, it's just baby blues. I'm like, it's, like, been 5 months. I'm like, I think I'm sick.
I think there's also, like, it's hard for women to even admit to their doctors, though.
Yes.
That they're, like, feeling this way.
There's no space to admit it. Because that sheet that they give you, I'm sorry, like, there is, no one's really asking you if you're all right. So it's
and if you say that you are, if you're not, like, you're immediately like, they're gonna hospitalize me
and take away my baby. That's also the thing too. It's like, it doesn't really feel like there's any encouragement to find a solution, or they will tell you things like, I mean, this gets into a whole nother thing of like, see a psychiatrist, see a psychologist. And also a lot of people don't have the means to be able to do that. So it's kind of like, you're just stuck in this position where you just ride it out. And ultimately what they're saying to you is, I can't help you and it'll get better. Where I would think that in the pediatrician's office in those beginning months and at your OB, like, they would offer you some sort of help, but they don't. They don't.
It's also a society problem, right? Like,
Sure.
especially like in Western culture. Like, they are like, we're not going to give you any access to dopamine while you're postpartum. Your family lives 1,000 miles away. Mm-hmm. Your friends don't, you know, like, some people don't have any friends that can, like, relate to it. There's no village in the sense of, like, nap, like, not even, like, a nap. And
right.
then they're like, and also if you get on meds, you're weak.
Yeah. Totally.
It's like they rip all of the pieces that used to, like, happen back, like, biologically, we used to live in villages, right? So this was never something that, like, yeah, I'm sure, like, our ancestors never thought about Zoloft postpartum because they, like, didn't need to.
There were also, like, 16 people around, like, helping and doing things and, like, cooking, and, like, everybody was picking up. I mean, we're fighting for our lives.
At like 30, so right. They're like, man, I'm almost done anyway, fuck it.
Whatever.
Whatever.
It's true. I do think the social media aspect adds another layer to like, maternal mental health. And, like, I hate that that's a truth, but I know that it is because I have heard from so many people. I'm sure that you've heard from people in your community too, where it's like, but how do I not compare myself to other people? What do you say to people? And, like, how do you tell, like, what's your advice to, like, turn that off?
Stop fucking following people that you don't like, that you don't, like, that you're comparing your life to. Like, you should truly only be following people that, like, make you feel better.
Right.
And I'm not even saying, like, commiserate, right? Like, it's not even about that.
Right.
It's that when you're postpartum, you don't want to watch a mom who just gave birth 2 days ago on the fucking treadmill, or like, and also something that I talk about pretty prevalently on my channel is that all of these people that you see that are, like, thriving, and I'm not saying there's not people that don't thrive postpartum. I do believe that there is a select few, God's favorite, but the ones that are acting like they're not have a lot of help behind the scenes that is not disclosed, which is the thing about social media that pisses me off the most, because it's like, okay, this person's great, but, like, does she have a house cleaner? Does she have a nanny? Does she have a mom that comes over from 1 to 3 and lets her take a nap? You know, blah, 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 blah. List goes on. And people are so obsessed with making their lives seem great and perfect that it's not something that's talked about, and that's a big chunk of the puzzle that's missing.
Yeah. I have a very deep-rooted hate for this, like, cool, you know, okay, let me just say, I think everybody shares what makes them comfortable. Good for fucking you, okay? Love that for you. I don't think people should be pressured to, like, show what they don't want to. But at the same time, I have a very deep-rooted hate for this rhetoric of, like, I only share the good because I want my page to be a place of positivity. No, it's not doing what you think it's doing. Like, you're not accomplishing that. You're creating false hope for people that doesn't exist. I'm not saying that, like, I don't only share bad things. It's like fucking life, you know, highs and lows. But it is so damaging, and you're so right. The only power that you have is in, don't follow these fucking people if someone's making you feel like shit. Also, if you're pregnant, having a hard pregnancy or a hard postpartum, there are some people you may have to unfollow for a little while. Because, like, you can't take that shit on, because, like, you're surviving right now. And I think that it is really complex, and I wish that there was some kind of, like, baseline as women where we'd be like, okay, let's just, like, this is an honest place we can get to all together. But it's not. And, like, even for me too, and, like, I touch a lot of grass. I mean, like, I'll eat the grass if I have to. I know when I need to check the fuck out. Yeah. But, like, even I sometimes am like, wow, I'm really not doing well, or, like, I need to be like that, or I need to be better. And it's like, but it's true. I don't have someone cleaning my house, and I don't have certain things, and I do have to work, and it's like, you have to remember that. So it's like, I have this rhetoric that I tell people where I'm like, if you don't know somebody's financial situation, support system, or the inner workings of their relationship, you cannot compare, because like those three fundamental things are actually the determining factor of like why that person, because if that person's sleeping 8 hours a night with a 2-week-old, that's very fucking different.
Yeah. Agree. No, that's so true. Like, you just never know what's going on behind the scenes. Even people who share a lot.
Yeah. No, totally.
But, yeah. I don't know. I don't follow those people anymore.
I know. Me either. There were some points, you know, when I was cleaning everything out, when I started making content and then entered, like, my motherhood time of life, and I was like, oh, I can't follow like any of this stuff anymore because I'm just like not the same. And I think you have to like really just you can't ingest those things, because it's very, it can really fuck up your mental health. But for you, like, what created for you to feel like you don't want to share the highlight reel? Was it simply just seeing people who only did, or?
Yeah, I think that, like, I just started noticing that that's the content that I hate consuming.
Right.
And that makes me feel like shit. So I want to make content that, A, makes me feel better because I feel like I just vented to my community, right? And then B, just, like, my goal in life is not to make anyone feel like shit. And I truly feel like anyone who's making content that, like, is putting your life on a pedestal without also showing the low parts are attention deprived.
Sure.
And are looking for something, truly.
Yeah.
These people, like, I'm sorry, they should go to therapy.
You're not wrong.
But I just never wanted to be perceived that way. Mm-hmm. And I have gotten feedback from people before that I show a lot of low and not a lot of I love being a mom. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, that's already, like, inherently known. Like, I shouldn't have to be like, I love my kids for people to know that I love my kids. Like, but that is something that I deal with also on the flip side, that I don't show enough highlights and that I act like I don't like my children.
That's so interesting. I really think that's a big projection from people. I've received those comments too. It's like, if you hate it so much, you shouldn't have fucking opened your legs. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so crazy that you're saying that to me, because what I feel like it makes people really uncomfortable to see someone talk about the hard things of motherhood. I've noticed that because they are like, fuck, I feel that way too. And they don't want to acknowledge that they feel that way. So it's like a big projection. But I mean, I think like so many thoughts, blah, blah, blah. People are just so annoying. How do you deal with the, like, people being haters about that kind of stuff, though?
I really don't give a fuck.
You don't care?
No. I don't know if you've seen my new series. But
I did. I saw.
Fucks.
Yeah, how to give fewer fucks.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't really care. I'm like, are you writing this from your mom's fucking basement? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I know I've done so many years of therapy that I know that these people are, like, actually hurting deep down inside themselves to be projecting something like that on a stranger on the internet. Like, you don't even know me. And so I'm just kind of like, I hope you get help.
Yeah, get better.
You should try Zoloft.
That seems like something you should talk to somebody while you're sitting on a couch. It's like, yes. Yeah, it's so crazy to me. I love also that you share that your kids sleep with you still, like that you all co-sleep, because it's so relatable. Like, I mean, who wouldn't just want to sleep? Whatever the fuck you have to do. Like, I've seen, like, every sleeping situation ever, but I love the videos specifically of the people that are like, for our co-sleeping family of 8. And it's like, they bring, like, they they have like the big bed in the room and everybody's like going to bed together. Personally, for me, like I could not do that, but I also love the comments that are like, this is too much. Like these kids are never going to be independent. And it's like, okay, so that's too much loving, too much connection. But yet somebody who's sharing the reality of motherhood, not saying I fucking hate being a mom, the reality of motherhood, you're like, do you even like it? It's like you can't ever win, so that I don't give a fuck mentality is truly the only way. But I think a lot of people, they wouldn't be able to survive it. And that's another aspect of the job, is like why this job is actually hard, because, I mean, people are really mean.
People, that is one thing that I would say to anyone who wants to put themselves out there on the internet and like be an aspiring influencer. I hate that word. I don't know. It's that people will hate you no matter what. Yeah. So you might as well just speak your truth, because like you just said, people are going to hate you if you don't co-sleep, because, oh my God, you don't want that. Your kids are only young once. You're never going to have that connection back. Oh my God, how selfish of you to put them in their rooms at 7 p.m. and make them lay there awake.
Right.
But then if you co-sleep, oh my God, I can't believe you do that. That is just like way too much. Your kids are never going to be able to sleep by themselves.
Yeah. It's just like, you're never going to win. It's all, you know what? When I first had my son, I didn't know certain things were like there were categories of motherhood, right? So I thought sleep training was normal. So when I shared like that we sleep trained him and stuff, and it was around the same time that I started combo feeding with formula, because I wasn't producing anymore. And people were freaking the fuck out. And I was like Googling, and I was like, wait, is it like political that I sleep trained him? Is it political that I'm like using formula? Like the way people were acting like I was the devil. And I was like, wait, so like what's a fucking crunchy mom? Like I had no concept of any of this. And I think about that often, because I'm like, that's how like being a mom in the 90s was. Because I think a lot about my mom's experience and how she had a much more, like we talked about before, like she was more chill about everything. And I feel like her mental health was in a much better place. But like all you were comparing yourself to was literally the people you knew. And like not even comparing, just asking for advice. Do you know what I mean? And your pediatrician and books. And so when you have this like influx of like everyone's telling you like what to do and what's wrong, and then you're a new mom and you're creating content, or you're consuming content, and you're like, oh my God, these people think it's wrong and these people think this is right, and like what, it's like it takes away the whole fucking point, which is what's right for the kid.
Yes.
What's fucking right for the kid? Because some kids need different things. Even if like your oldest and your youngest need different things. Like some kids thrive being sleep trained, some need formula, some need to be breastfed. I don't fucking know, whatever. Your experience is totally different. And I think that that's my biggest issue with all of it, is it takes away what's best for the actual child, you know?
And the mom.
And the mom, of course, both. But it's like the mom is usually, her intuition is telling her what's best for the child. And then all these people fucking pipe up. And then it takes away that internal compass that I think we do really naturally have. But that the internet has done something where we're scared of it, you know, scared to lean into it.
It's so crazy, because with my first, I was not on the internet at all. And so by the time he was like 1.5 is when I like started dabbling. And honestly, like looking back at the way that I, you know, parented or whatever, like these internet trolls would not believe that my kid is 4. I'll tell you that right now. I'm like, oh damn, like you're not supposed to do that? I don't know. I won't go into detail, but
no, so many things. Like also, you know, all my family members are older. Like so some of the advice that they gave me, like I remember my uncle was like, I was like, Jazz is so constipated, I don't know what to do. He's like, oh, give him some tap water.
That sounds like something an old person would say.
Okay, like literally, I was like, okay, I gave him tap water. He's shit. And then I was like, Googling it, and I was like, oh, fuck, like, you're not supposed to do that. And I remember I had said it, like, in, I don't know, in, like, a vlog or something, and people were like, you shouldn't be shit. And I was like, wait, but he shit. Like, the point was he shit. Like, he needed to shit. And then I was like, I gotta be careful. I need to fucking be careful.
It's like you say I gave my kid tap water, and the internet is like, oh my god, she went to a third world country and stuffed her kid's head into the river.
Yeah. Her 6-month-old has butt worms.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't fucking know. He couldn't shit. It was really bad. What do you want me to do? I gave him some water. It felt logical. How do you find some sort of rhythm in your life with all of these responsibilities? I personally don't believe in balance, but I think like rhythm is the key to us living like a happy, full life with many responsibilities and accomplishing our goals. So how do you find that? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think balance really exists. It's truly the cliche. If you're succeeding in one area, you're probably failing in another. And I like to live life the way, what is going to make me happiest right this second. Mm-hmm. And if that means stepping away from my children to edit a video for an hour at 5 p.m., then for work, so be it. If that means disconnecting from my phone and hanging out with my kids, so be it. You're never going to be able to do it all. So honestly, just do whatever makes you happy at the time.
That's it. Moment by moment. Another perk of the job, because it's really not that serious, the time frame of it all.
It's not heart surgery, that's for sure.
No, it's not. And how do you, what does self-care look like for you?
Man. Using my steam mop. No, I honestly, it's stepping away from my children for a bit, and that can mean a variety of things. Like, I love doing work trips where it's 2 days away, getting a refresher, remembering who I am as a person, that I'm not just a mother. That's my self-care, a moment to remember that I am actually a human being, with desires and thoughts and wants, and not just a snack bitch.
Right.
That's self-care.
Totally. Yeah, I love that. I think that's really inspiring, because I think for a lot of people, it's how do I squeeze my 5 minutes? And sometimes it's I think it looks different for everybody. Some people need an hour every day, but I think that's a really great way to look at it. It's especially if you have to be on, or your husband works one of those, his travels a lot or whatever. It's maybe you are on for an entire week, but then maybe you do get a whole day or a 2-day trip or something like that. It's you got to do what works for you, because I'm sure that you come back as such a better mom when you do get that time away.
Yes. And I would say that working is my self-care. It's something outside of motherhood that I get to do every day. And I couldn't probably say the same for my old job, because I really didn't like it that much.
Right.
But now that I actually enjoy my work, it is nice to have, and you know what, the hater moms can say whatever they want, but I do enjoy having my 8 hours to focus on something other than being a mother.
Totally. Of course. I mean, that's the difference between being a stay-at-home mom and a working mom. You know what I mean? It's having something else. And it is what fuels some people. It depends on the person and what it is. But I totally agree. I could not do that. I need to work. I love to work. I need something outside of, I need some actual tangible goals. And I think we all do in our own way. They just look different. And some people it is for a monetary gain. For other people it's not. But I think it's a beautiful thing. And you know what? You are inspiring people, because they follow you. They love your content. They resonate with your content. You're sharing what the fuck is real. And people can be so triggered by that, but it doesn't change the fact that your message is so impactful, because I see the way people respond to you. And so with that all being said, what do you really want people to take away from your content specifically?
Yeah, I think I just want them to take away that, nobody's perfect. No matter how they however they're perceived, there's always probably something going on behind the scenes, and don't compare yourself to people. Just follow, especially with social media, just follow people that you fucking like.
Yeah. It's the best advice.
Life's short, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the best. best advice. I think people forget that they have free will and don't have to follow everybody.
Except me. Follow me.
Yeah. Follow us. Follow us. You'll love it. It's great. It applies to everyone but us. Yeah. And all the creators that Maddie manages. Them too.
Yeah, they're also, them too. Those are all good too.
Do you have anything exciting coming up? Anything for people to look out for?
No, not really.
Just your regular
series.
Your new series and your regular
I
content.
never stick to a series though, so no one look for episode 2.
Oh my god. You're so funny.
But no, nothing too fun.
The usual. But I love that. Okay, where can everyone find you? Tell us everything.
You can find me on Instagram. It's Maddie Muhs. And on TikTok, which I don't really use it as much, but Maddie Mew, M-U. And in real life.
In IRL.
Live in Houston.
Being a snack bitch and at the grocery store. Yeah, feel that. Oh my God, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was so nice to talk to you. And yeah, thanks for inspiring people and just keeping it fucking real. We need it.
Thanks for having me.